Hi guys, and welcome to Cincy Fishing. I'm John. I'm going to run you through some of my favorite springtime baits this year. One of the things we're going to kind of do differently than a lot of the other YouTubers, we're not doing any editing. We're trying not to do anything cut. We're just trying to bring you some raw footage. We're going to tell you what we do, how we do it, what baits we're throwing. We're going to tell you baits that are not going to break the bank. There's lots of baits that'll catch a fish and they don't have to cost you $1,000. One of them that's been burning them up this year, inexpensive, is the Lunker Hunt series. This is the Kraken. It comes in spring crawfish. Definitely upgrade your treble hooks on these. I like the little bit bigger treble hook in the front. Has a great, nice wobble to it. Nice, great rattle. Been throwing this quite a bit. It's quite chewed up, beat up. It's got quite a few bass on it. Now, on that same series, the Kraken series, inexpensive, is their lipless. Same color, same kind of awesome rattle to it. The lipless bite's been kind of hitting here lately. We've been having a lot of cold, rainy weather. Temps have been going up and down, so the bass don't know if they want to still be out in pre-spawn or whether they're moving up in the spawn. A lot of the places that I've been fishing around here in the Cincinnati Tri-State area are public ponds. Haven't been able to go up to any of the local lakes and fish a lot. They've been flooded. Lots of rain here. Another great square bill type, newer bait made by Gary Yamamoto. This is his Shakira and a black red flake. Great square bill. Great rattle, nice color, great paint job. Something new from Yamamoto, getting away from just the soft baits. Commonly known for his Cinco, great bait. I have not swapped out treble hooks on these. Haven't really felt a need to. It's pulled in quite a few, 4 and 5 pounders, and haven't had any hook bend yet out of it. Great bait this time of the year. Another great bait, something new to the market, is the Live Target bait ball spinner rig. This one's at a 1/2 ounce size. It's got a great willow leaf braid in the center. These are all 3 dummy rigs, so if you live in a state where you only allow 1 hook, 2 hooks, this one doesn't matter. It's only got the 1 hook, and then the 3 dummies. Every fish that I have caught has been pinned on this single larger swim bait. It literally choked it. The nice thing about this bait is not only does it resemble a schooling or a school of bait fish, I kind of throw it like the A-rig a little bit too, but I don't have to break out the heavy swim bait rod. I can throw this on conventional tackle, slow drag this down towards the bottom. Not really slow rolling, because you got to get that bait up. You got to get these the dummies or the other swim baits definitely moving, or you can kind of burn it a little bit better or a little bit faster like a spinner bait. Literally have smoked a lot of bass on this already this year. The cooler water, I can slow it down just a little bit. Each of them's got that paddle tail boot, if you want to call it, on the back. Definitely gets the kick in there. And the bass have simply destroyed it. One of the nice things that Live Target has recently, and I don't know if it's just new to my area or if it's something new altogether, is they have sent out the replacement bodies. It was one of the things I was worried about when I picked a couple of these up, what I was going to do when the bodies finally were destroyed. Now that answer has been solved. Along that same lines of the lipless is this Gary Yamamoto. I believe he calls this a Medusa. This is in a red crawl. Red crawl this time of the year, most of your crawfish are going to be kind of that reddish color. Following guys around these little ponds, they're not catching anything. I throw anything in this red crawl to this red crawl, and I've been burning them up behind them. Some of the guys have finally realized that the red crawl is the color. They've gone out of their green and crawfish crankbaits. Guy picked up, put a red crawl on, started catching fish right with me. Something newer for me has been the large swim baits and the glide bait. This one is the Savage Gear Glide Swimmer, I believe is what they call it. This one's in Dirty Silver Flash, I believe. I do throw this one on my swim bait rod. I got a Kakata 400B on it. I've been throwing it on 20-pound Berkley Big Game, and then a couple places where I need to. It's not my preferred, but I've got another swim bait rod rigged up with 65-pound Power Pro. Just absolutely destroyed a bass this morning. Guys here in Cincinnati in my area are they kind of make fun of me when I pull out the bigger baits, and I tell them the big baits will catch the 2 or 3 pounders just as well. Guy was laughing at me this morning until I caught one about 4.5 pounds on it. He's realized that big baits are nothing to be intimidated by. Even when I'm throwing the 4.8 Kitech, it's a staple bait in the bass hobby. Put this one on a 1/2 ounce jig head, swim bait head. A lot of guys are wondering why I'm throwing something so big. And I tell them that's nothing big. I used to throw 7-inch worms in this area all day long and caught bass on them. Swim bait has been great for me this time of the year. Slow rolling it, kind of bouncing it off the bottom. Then up in some of the shallow areas where I've seen some bass kind of moving, foraging, I've kind of burned it through those a little bit more. Not speed burning it, but definitely keeping it going. And definitely destroyed a lot of bass on them. Great bait for this time of the year. Another great bait that kind of resembles the schooling is the Ike Series Mullock spinnerbait. This one's in a triple willow leaf. I'm going to say that this one's 1/2 ounce, 3/4 of an ounce. Great bait to slow roll. Bring it through, kind of gives you that bait fish presentation. This one is in Pummelfish, I believe is the color, but it's the black and blue. Definitely love it. You can kind of burn this one. I like to do a normal spinnerbait, or you can definitely slow roll it. I have bounced this one off the bottom. Put a trailer on, give it a little extra action out of the back end. Definitely been a great catcher, or a fish catcher for me. One of the baits I'm really excited for to start throwing a lot more. I threw it around a little bit today. I think I'm kind of early on it. I'm thinking this one's going to be a great bait thrown around the beds. The bass are going to get pissed off that these little bluegill are coming in to rob their eggs. This is a Savage Gear, I think they call it the T-tail, 3/8 of an ounce. It's got your standard jig hook up top, more of a finesse type swim bait, I would say, with the smaller hook. Definitely got that paddle tail. It does have another ring at the bottom if you want to belly hook it with a stinger, treble hook. I did throw this around quite a bit today. Kind of burned it, slow rolled it, did a lot, see what the action is. I'm really impressed with it. I think this is going to be a bait that I'm going to be able to throw up when a bass are starting to spawn. Bring it in, have it hop through their bed. They're going to get pissed off on Mr. Bluegills in there trying to mess up their nest, and they're going to destroy. I'm excited to throw more of a finesse style soft body swim bait. Swim baits are definitely a key game for me around here. Like I said, a lot of guys look at me kind of weird. They think when I'm throwing the nearly 7-inch Savage Gear that I'm throwing big, and then they've watched me pull out my 9-inch soft body Savage Gear baits or my Huddlestons, and after I stick a fish or two, they definitely stop laughing about it. Another great bait this time of the year is a chatterbait. Place I went to this morning, guy was throwing a chatterbait around a little bit. He caught one. Followed me, after I caught a couple on the Glide Swimmer, and I was throwing a Yoziri Dual Hardcore crankbait and a red crawl. I don't have that bait out here with me to show you, but I stuck a couple bass on that this morning as well. I'm waiting for my topwater bite to kind of kick in a little bit more to be able to throw my Pop Max and my Pop Max X, just a smaller version. Great poppers. popper style bait, the old pop, 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 pop. I like the fluted mouth where it allows water to splash out the bottom of the gills. This definitely has a unique sound to it. I do work this just like a regular popper, and I do walk the dog with it. One of my favorite places to throw this, and I absolutely smoked them last year, was up at East Fork Lake at the spillway down below. Caught a lot of nice bass down there. Throwing this Megabass Pop-X down there. Guy was throwing a regular generic $1.99, 99-cent popper. No problem with that at all. They catch fish. There is a place for them. And if that's in your budget, that's what you want. But I come behind him with the Megabass. Didn't necessarily catch more than he did, but hearing this sound versus his sound, he's definitely looking to get some Megabass to kind of give that different sound to it. Guys, that's a lot of times, you know, you're trying to find the right bait, the right sound, and the right location for these bass. Like for an example, your walk the dog style baits. I just happen to have a Yamamoto topwater bait, walk the dog style bait here. You know, but there's the Sammy. You know, there's quite a few of them out there. They all have a different kind of rattling tone to them. I believe we can find these that are silent. Sometimes when you get that loud thunk, 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 thunk coming out of them BBs, weights, whatever you want to call it on the inside, that different sound could definitely trigger bass bites versus another one. I've done it myself. I was out striper fishing in the Whitewater River, and I'm throwing, I don't even remember what kind of topwater, walk the dog. Didn't really have that loud rattle to it. That current's ripping through there. I thought it was a little low sounding. So I pulled out another type of walk the dog bait, threw it in. Same area I'd been having no luck, and all of a sudden I started slamming them. I'm interested to see what this Yamamoto tape pencil is going to do this year. I love that topwater bite. I love watching them bass explode on that. I'm excited to see how this bait's going to do, how it's going to sound, how the bass are going to react to it. All this new Yamamoto baits. You know, this little square bill, I don't know if you can see that, there's teeth marks all over that. If the tape pencil could lift up to anything like the Shakara 100, I believe, square bill does. Guys, Yamamoto struck gold outside of the Cinco game, and these are going to be great baits. The budget baits, again, guys, if you're not looking to spend a lot of money, you want baits that are going to catch fish, the Lunker Hunt is the ticket. This is in the Kraken series. Once again, you can find these at Dick's Sporting Goods. They got a nice rattle to them, real nice loud rattle. I've been really impressed with it. This particular one here, I actually had it break off, float it back up, and drug it back in because I love the bait so much. I got a few of them, but they're just tore up with the teeth marks from the bass. The bass are just absolutely slaughtering. Has a real nice tight wobble to it. I have been able to get a little wider wobble out of it just with my retrieve. But it's a great crankbait for the money. Same thing with the lipless. You don't want to spend a lot of money on a lipless. The Kraken series has got the two different top line places, kind of give you a different appearance, vibration, wobble out of that bait. I haven't really done the water test on this to see if it's going to sit nose down, flat, how it sits in the water. I believe it's going to nose down a lot more if you wanted to rip this off the bottom, but it definitely has caught fish. Again, you know, these are some of my springtime baits around here, down here in Cincinnati. I actually live east of Cincinnati. We've had winter, spring, back to winter, rain, unbelievable amount of rain. The Ohio River actually flooded quite a bit of town. Lots of roads were closed off. These bass, I believe, are still in the deeper pockets on the pre-spawn. The spawn will be coming really soon. Some of you guys are already on the spawn. That's great. You're catching bedfish. Here in Cincinnati, we haven't quite got to that point. I'm really looking forward to that. I'm going to try to keep videos coming. We're going to try to keep educating people. We're going to do it raw, uncut, unedited. I've been doing this for a long time. Something I really wanted to do was just kind of get out there and put some information out on YouTube. Not necessarily be the best, have the fancy editing. Just wanted to bring information to people. Talk about baits like the lunker hunt that nobody wants to talk about. Talk about baits that will catch fish that are going to be under $5. You don't have to spend a ton of money on a good crankbait. Got a good paint job on it. Probably not the best. When you compare it to the Yamamoto, it's a lot of detail. Great baits. Get these on bargain. Watch for them to go on sale. Get them when they're $5 a piece. Another great bait. Same thing with the Megabass. All the Megabass in my area have been closed out. I believe these started out at $24.99. I was picking these up for $4.99 each. Can't beat that price. Same thing with the bait ball spinner rig. Dick's has been great to me. They've been having some great sales on them. I did spend 10 plus bucks on one of these guys, but they're definitely catching fish. Did a lot of Black Friday sale shopping. Got to some of the bigger swim baits, glide baits, that kind of stuff to stock up my arsenal. We're going to try to break down some different baits as we go. Talk about the different methods. Talk about the different ways that we catch fish, or I catch fish. It can be applied to you on no matter what body of water. Guys, if you're in my area, you see these baits, these are not just for muskie. They're not just for pike. Bass, destroy them. They are great, great baits. You throw one of these out, watch that thing slide through the water, gives that nice S motion. The bass just can't resist it. Don't make fun of the guys when they're throwing these big baits. There's a reason for them. There is a time and a place for those. Time and a place for that size swim bait. Time and a place for that style swim bait. This swim bait really hasn't started taking off great yet. This one has. Get into a Huddleston, you're able to chuck that dude out there. Slow roll it on the bottom. It has that nice vortex tail. It's still kicking no matter how slow you're dragging it. Again, guys, we're going to keep bringing you information as much as possible, at least once a week. If we can bump it up more than that, we will. I am a regular dude that's out there working my 9-to-5 job Monday through Friday, so I've only got a couple days a week to bring you information, but I'm going to do it as much as I can. We're going to have fishing videos. We might even get into some live stuff where we have questions and answers. There's always places down below you can comment, ask questions. I'll be glad to help you and tell you what I do, how I do it. I'm going to go back and do a lot of throwback stuff. I'm going to talk about stuff I used to do, I don't know, 30 years ago, that's hit the market today again. There's some of this stuff that, I see it called a different name now than what it used to be, like the floating fly. We never called it a floating fly, but by golly, we always had a little hair jig under a float and did the floating fly. See another one, the drop shot. The drop shot, of course, now the weights are different, but we did that too. And I'm not going to go through that. We used some bell sinkers, I believe it was. Tied them on the bottom. Definitely had that hook suspended above it. We didn't have O-rings. We just wacky rigged our worm, nose rigged our worm, threw it out, shook it along and brought it in. Did a lot of finesse fishing when I was younger. Never knew it was called finesse fishing. I just called it ultralight. I did a lot of that. Did a lot of smallmouth fishing. Did a lot of bass fishing. We're not just going to bass fish on this channel. We're going to fish for catfish. We're going to fish for crappie. We fish for bluegill. We run the gamut on the different species. We'll talk about some of that stuff as well. Bass fishing has always been the home run for me, or the way that I like to fish the most. So that's what I'm going to talk about a lot. I am going to talk a lot about catfishing as well. I do quite a bit of that. A lot of the places you're going to see me fishing is going to be off the bank, public waters. Some of the guys in the area might recognize the spot. Some of you already know East Fork Lake. I don't have access to a boat anymore. A few years ago, I lost my dad. He was my fishing partner. We used his boat. I've fished all over the country, anywhere from Lake Okeechobee to Gunnersville, Thousand Islands up in New York, Table Rock Lake. We fished hundreds of different lakes down in the south. A lot of lakes, small lakes down in Florida that a lot of people don't know about. And we've stuck some big bass. It's where my roots came from. And this is kind of my way to give back to that man that showed me what fishing was all about. Something we talked about doing, something we always wanted to do together, was start educating people on how we bass fish. We were a little bit different. I'm still a lot different than a lot of the other guys that fish in this area. I did have some luck and had some West Coast friends that kind of brought me along and showed me some of that West Coast fishing. Showed me what it was all about. Showed me the different stuff. Stuff that nobody here had even known about. I couldn't even get the baits. Back then there was no internet. So I had to rely on some of these guys to kind of bootleg baits to me. And when I got them, oh boy, let me tell you what, that was, you were showing the bass something they hadn't seen. And that's what it's all about. You find high pressured lakes, you gotta find that bait that's something different. Right there, something different. Bass around here have not seen that. People are afraid to throw that. They're afraid to throw that in my area. I'm not afraid to throw that. I've thrown 7-inch grubs all day long, fishing for striper. I took that and turned that over into some smallmouth fishing, spotted bass fishing. Went down on Lake Barkley, Kentucky Lake, some of those lakes. Burned them up on 6 to 7-inch twister tails. Something we're going to talk about that I don't see a lot of people talk about anymore is the old twister tail. We're going to show you some different tricks and different ways to rig baits. We're going to do it all, guys, and we're going to do it honestly. We're not going to show you things that we're just trying to sell you. I don't sell these baits. I fish with them. I buy them. I don't have sponsors. I can give you honest answers. You see it, the Lunker Hunt. Cheap $5 bait. It catches fish. On the complete other end of the spectrum, and I don't have much of the Megabass stuff here, $24.99 Megabass popper. Yes, buddy, it catches fish. Great paint jobs, great schemes. 99-cent poppers. You get them, if they're tuned, they catch fish. What I mean by tuned is when you're throwing them out, they pop and they actually do what they're supposed to. I've picked up a few that were just garbage. 99 cents, what can you expect? Anyways, guys, that's all I have for you today. Stick with us, Cincinnati Fishing. We're going to fish and we're going to burn them up this year. Thanks a lot.